What's up, chat? Back again with another vampire story time. So this story takes place 1725 in Serbia. If you don't know what Serbia is, it's in Europe, smack down right in the middle between Bulgaria, Bosnia, Hungary. A little history lesson for y'all. Where's that geography? Anyway, so this man named Petra passed away from unknown circumstances, unknown illnesses. And at this time in history, they had a lot of plagues, a lot of sicknesses. The hygiene wasn't up to par. The cleanliness wasn't up to par. So they were getting all type of stuff. So it was common to pass away. And I believe he was 60. He definitely immigrated there from Bosnia. He only lived there about a year, they said. So yeah, he's not a local. And if you know small towns like that, locals are always weary and leery of you. Doesn't matter where you're from and where you're at. Small town people know everybody in town, so it's kind of like, what you doing here? So after his death, guys, this was the weird part. 8 or 9 other people within 8 or 9 other days was unalived as well. And it started with a sickness, plague-like element for everybody at first. They last for 1 or 2, maybe 3 days, and then they pass away, unfortunately. But the funny thing they all say before they go, they named this man Petra. And all these people lived in a small town in Serbia, so they all knew him, especially if you the new guy. They knew him. They said they seen him in their dreams as a nightmare. Every single person before they passed, when they seen the doctor, said the same thing, Chad. And people kept disappearing. So even though that it was banned in Serbia at the time, after somebody passed away, they did their Serbian ritual. I'm not gonna say exactly, but you can tell by what this is. I don't know if TikTok will allow that. And then they use fire. So at the time, King Charles VI said anything vampire related, call him, hit his line immediately. He said, matter of fact, bring it right to the imperial court immediately. Nobody knew why or how he was so invested and so interested, but he was. So he sent out the Austrian troops out there. Mind y'all, it's banned and they're not allowed to do what I just said they did in the last part with the hawthorn stakes. And by the way, the hawthorn is said to have mystical abilities and spiritual properties from this tree. So that's why the villagers use this type of wood. Yes, y'all. So they was out there in the graveyards doing what I said with those stakes, right? The weird part was about it, they said that the people looked healthy, like they were just alive, like some of them had fresh blood on them, like they were good. Especially Petra. When they found him, he had passed away allegedly 8 days ago, but he had fresh blood on him. They're like, and he looked healthy. What? Yeah, stake him too. Where was Buffy when you needed her? They even said one woman that was known to look like, starvation. I think she was homeless. She had a lot going on. She was very small, very ill looking. They said they went to that graveyard, opened up that box. They said she looked fresh, full, healthy, well-fed. The best they ever seen her look in years. Mind y'all, she's sitting in this box unalived. They said, oh, nah, she gotta go too. She could take one of these too, they said. Along with the fire. So the people in this little village kept doing this over and over. 17 people in counting, because that's how many people were getting sick and passing away out of nowhere. And here's the weird part. They had never heard of a count like this until 5 years prior. This is why the story started matching up. All right, y'all, the video's getting too long, but tune in for part 2 and I'll tell you what happened 5 years prior, all right? This is Forbidden Lore with Cube. Don't forget to engage from the bottom up. Share, save, comment, follow, because this story gets interesting. All right, chat, here's part 2 of the Serbian vampire. So like I said, the government, nobody heard or knew about this, but they heard a similar account 5 years prior. The village got sick, the same type of thing happened, but they said it happened with an Albanian man about 5 years ago. So they said he was in the graveyard and he was bitten. Bro must have been delusional at the time, because they said bro was rubbing the dirt into his wound of the vampires from the graveyard. Then he took a little bit of like the corpse in the body and rubbed that on himself as well, because they said it's a ritual and it'll stop you from turning into a vampire. Then I think he ended up breaking his neck and unaliving himself or something like that. But it still didn't work. They said he still turned. I guess they caught him early too while he was in the graveyard, but people got sick and infected after, he was allegedly unalive. But this was like 4 to 5 people. It wasn't like 17 at this point. So fast forward back to my story, Petra got 17 bodies on his hand now, y'all. And they're trying to figure out, how is this even happening? Is it like a group? Is it a coven? Or what's happening? Because Petra, they already handled him. They already dealt with him. So this the wild part, y'all. Allegedly, Petra fed off of a calf, and they cooked and fed them the meat, and those people were still infected. This is this what their thoughts are. I don't know. My thoughts, I think there probably was a number 2 vampire, but I don't know. And while I'm on the topic, TikTok, this is only for entertainment purposes only. This is all hypothetically and allegedly speaking, of course. But this is government and military documented information. So, am I wrong? Yeah, y'all take that how you want to take it. Because this is all Googleable. And back in those days, Europe and the soldiers used to talk way more. They used to run their mouth about everything going on. Nowadays, it's a little bit more secret, a little bit touchy-touchy. And back in those days, mass hysteria was a thing. We know way more going on, though, now in the world. I don't feel like we would act like that, but, they're still trying to keep secrets from us. And trust me, if I live in a small town and people were dropping left to right, and I would be nervous too. So, of course, that creates mass hysteria. And the Austrian government is out here, and the military soldiers, they can't do nothing. Guess what? Them locals took care of it before they even got there and could stop them. Again, because I said it was allegedly banned to do that in Serbia because, the witch trials and all that. So they wasn't allowed to stake and burn. They can't do that no more. And I actually heard in some areas in Serbia, they still do it. So any of my Europeans, I know I have a lot of European supporters. Let me know if you know any Serbians or have anybody from Serbia. Do y'all still in some areas of Serbia still do that vampiric ritual? Not to mention, Chad, did I tell y'all the word vampire came from Serbia? Yes, they coined the phrase. They did. Look it up. It's public knowledge if y'all don't believe me. So after like 10 days of Petra's death and 17 people they had to do that ritual on, the town was back to its regular town. If you like this video, make sure you engage from the bottom up. Share, save, comment, follow. Let me know in the comments if y'all want to hear about the vampire living in the Serbian watermill. All right, I'll call y'all back later. Bye.